Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today's part 16 of my fitness database series. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 15 yet, go watch those first and come on back. And as a reminder, whether or not you care about fitness, well, this is just how to build a database. So fitness is just a backdrop. Everything else applies to all the different kinds of databases I can think about. So yeah, it's good stuff. All right, let's get into it. All right, so last time in level 15, we talked about this. I go to add an item, and I type in bread or whatever, and then I try to move to another item. We get this message that's not very friendly. You can't add or change a record because a related record is required in table food group T. If you're smart, you understand what that means. You got to have a food group, but I want a better message that my user can understand. All right, so let's hit escape, get away from that. Now, first of all, what's causing that message? Well, what's causing it is the relationship between our two tables. Remember when we set up our, I'm so used to going to database and then compact and repair. If we go to our relationships window, remember we have a relationship here between food group table and food table, right? And if we look at the properties of that relationship, we are enforcing referential integrity. That means you have to have a matching record here. Right? You can't have a food item without a food group item. Okay? Okay. Now, where do we go to trap that error? If they try to add something in here, whatever it is, and they try to leave the record, okay, what we want to do is we want to catch that before the form tries to save the data to the table. And we do that in the form's before update event. You can also try trapping the form error by error number, but that's a little more difficult. The before update event is usually good enough. If you're not familiar with the before update event, go watch this video for a little more information on that. But what I can do is I'm going to hit escape, get out of that, right click, design view, come into the forms properties. Under the events tab, find the before update event. This runs before the data is saved to the table, so while it's still dirty. And in here, we're going to just check to make sure there's a value in that food group combo, but you got to be careful. Watch what happens. All right. So most of the time you'd check and say, if is null food group combo, then, and at this point, we don't have one picked, so we'll say food group combo dot set focus, and then food group combo dot drop down. And then we'll status over here in the status box. We'll status, or you can use a message box, whichever you prefer. Status, select a food group. And then I'm going to put a color in here. Let's go, let's say FFAAA, that's red. And then speak it. Those are things I did with the extended cuts for the members, right? Okay. And then we're going to set cancel equals true. And if. And cancel, that'll cancel the update. All right, yeah, I know it's an integer, but I always refer to it as a Boolean. Okay, because true, cancel equals true, cancel equals false just makes more sense. All right, save it, debug, compile, once in a while. All right, close it, open it. Let's try to add a new item, type in some stuff, and then switch to another record or whatever. And, oh, wait, we still got the same error message. What's going on there? Why didn't that work? I got nothing in my combo box here. What's the problem? Now, this one trips up a lot of people, including me. I often forget to check this. Okay? Yes, this is null on the surface, but what's underneath this field? Right? The combo box doesn't have a value in it, but it's bound to food group ID. Now, food group ID is a foreign key, right? That foreign key is in our food table right there, and it has a default value of 0. So even though you don't see anything in the box and you think it's null, it's really 0. So make sure you check for that. Okay? If it's an unbound combo box, it'll be null if there's nothing in it. But if it's a bound foreign key box like that, it's going to have a 0 in it. This used to throw me off. I don't know how many nights I lost. So I lost sleep over this problem in the past. So you are benefiting from my sleeplessness of years gone by. All right. But anyways, so in here, the easiest way to do it if you're not sure is just check for both. If is null or if food group combo equals 0, not 9, 0, then do that. Okay? I've literally thrown laptops across the room with this problem. Add new, whatever, and then we'll go to another record.
Select a food group.
And there you go. I gotta select the food group. Okay, and this is fruits. Now, we also have to check for this same issue if we hit the add new button again. Well, sometimes you do. Oh, I just put something in there. Do this and hit the add new button again.
Select a food group.
Yeah, see? So you can, there it goes. See, you can't go to the specified record because it's trying, because after the speech ran, it tried to do this. So we could either turn that into a function or just check for it here too. Both ways work. We could put an unerror resume next here, but then it'll error out on that and then move the focus, which I don't want it to do. So let's turn it into a function. That makes more sense. So this guy here, we'll turn that into a function so we can check it in both places. We don't want duplicate code, right? So I'll just say, let's do, we'll say here, let's say if not has food group, then cancel equals true. We'll keep it simple in here. And we'll make this private function has food group. It doesn't take any values in because it's just going to work with the current form. You don't have to send it any parameters, and it will return a Boolean value, a true or false. Okay? And here we'll say if is null this or that, then we'll do the drop down, set the food group, and then we'll just exit with the value. So here we'll say has food group equals false. Otherwise, has food group equals true. Okay, so now, and if you're wondering why this line doesn't appear here like it should, I got an end if there instead of an end sub. And this should be a function, right? Function because it's returning a value. Nope, this is the function. That's the sub. So this needs to be end sub right there. And this is our function. Okay, so the before update will check to see if it has a food group. If it gets in here and there is no food group, it'll return a false and then cancel the event. Okay, now we have to check for it also in the add button, which is up top here. Right here. Let's say if you click the add new button and this record is dirty, in other words, I'm editing this record, we're going to check to see if it's got a food group. So if Me.Dirty, which means I'm editing this record, then you could put an and there, but I like to have it check one thing at a time in this case. All right. If not has food group, then exit sub. Don't try to go to the new record then. All right. So if it's dirty, if we're editing the record, check to see if it's got a food group. If not, exit out because the other thing, because the function's going to generate the error message. Okay, see what I'm doing here? This way we're reusing this guy and not having the same code in two places. All right, save it.
Select a food group.
See, even if you're working in here, if this guy is dirty, it's still going to fire off events. I'm going to hit escape a couple times. And let's delete this. Delete that, yes. Okay, all right. Now, save it, debug compile. Oh, we don't need to debug compile because we just did. Okay, close it, open it, add, bread. Add.
Select a food group.
All right, we're good. Hit escape, move off of it.
Select a food group.
And yes, I have my speech set to British. It just sounds more refined. Oh, someone's beaming in. Hold on. They don't have Klingon available. Now, there's one other situation that we have to take into consideration, and that's, let's say they add a new record, blah, 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 whatever. And at this point, they realize they don't want it. They want to delete the record. If they try to, move off of it, they're still going to get this error message. Okay, I don't want to have to pick a food group. And they don't know they can just hit escape, right? Obviously, there's a training issue involved here. Training is important, people. But if they just hit delete at this point and say yes,
select a food group,
they're going to get an error message. Why? Because you can't Me.Dirty equals false it without that value in there. Okay, so hit stop. So what we're going to do at this point, after this point right here, we've verified that they do want to indeed delete this record. So we're just going to check and see if they've picked the food group or not. And if not, we're going to hit the escape key for them and cancel the edit, right? Because that means it's a new record and they haven't picked the food group. So again, we'll just say if is null, food group combo or food group combo equals 0, then it's a new record. Just undo it, right? Me.Undo exit sub. That's all we got to do, right? Because they're editing a new record. They obviously haven't picked a food group yet, so it's not saved. We can just undo their edits and exit out. No need to delete stuff in the table and requery and all that stuff, right? All right, so let's try it again. We could probably still come out here and do it. Ready? Delete. Are you sure? Yep. Undo. See? Undo just cancels what they're doing. Nice and easy. And I just went to check to see if I had a video on Me.Undo, and I don't. I know I cover it in a couple of different videos. This is one of those features that I've never made a video on it, but I've used it a lot because it has a lot of value. But now I got to make a tech help video just for Me.Undo so I get the keyword. Now this actually does kind of this kind of showcases why I sometimes don't like using referential integrity, because those relationships between the tables, yeah, they make some things easy, but they make other things more difficult. I would honestly rather handle a lot of that myself in code. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You sometimes have to work around referential integrity in your code with your other buttons. And again, remember that referential integrity doesn't work if you've got tables that are in different backend files. So that can be a problem too. But yeah, all right, we'll work with it. All right, time for some Q&A, stuff posted on my website and on YouTube, questions about previous videos. Let's see what we got today. DeGull2000, a member, said that he's wondering if I'd add recipes and nutrition. I wrote a DB that would love to have an API link to some nutritional database. Well, I already built that for the members earlier, where we click on the Get Macros button, and it returns the calories and protein and all that stuff. So that's already in there. As far as adding recipes, I probably won't build this into a recipe database. Just, food items, and then we're going to build meals. But as far as like individual, like flour and eggs and all, probably not going to go that far. But we are going to have food items, and then we can bundle those together into meals, as we've already done. Bowerin Betten 7052 says, can you add the part to update the prices every time you buy food to show your food costs? No, we're not going to get into that. I'm not going to keep track of pricing and all that stuff. I've got lots of other databases where I build like product databases, and in my developer course we do stuff like this, but we're not going to track food pricing in this one. This is all about just how it affects you, right? The calories you eat, the protein, that kind of stuff. But I do have other videos that show you how to do this stuff on my website. Renee B099 says, I have an issue with the Are You Sure function. Debug highlights it as undefined. Yeah. This is a function that I built in one of my previous tech help videos. I try to do my best to make sure that if there's prerequisites that you need to know before watching a video that I mention it. I might have forgotten to mention this because it's something that I use a lot. If you are ever unsure about something like that, go to my website and search for it. Right? So just come right up here in the search box and type in Are You Sure? You'll see it's right there in my search history, in fact. And you'll see right there, there's the Are You Sure function. It'll take you right to the video where I talk about it. Okay, so if I ever forget in the future and there's something interesting or weird or different, a function that I mentioned that doesn't come up, search for it on my website and you'll probably find it. Okay, so I apologize if I didn't mention that in a previous video. It's not a members cut thing. It's just something I forgot to mention. That's all. I get so used to using my own toolbox of functions that I forget that you guys don't have that toolbox unless you've seen the prerequisite videos. And I don't always mention them as prerequisite videos. So that's my fault. I apologize. All right, in today's extended cut for the members, we're going to fix a pet peeve that I can't stand. When you go to a new record, it drops it all the way down, but it puts it at the top. Here, let me show you what I mean. All right, let's say, save changes, yeah. Let's say you're in here, and you hit add new, it puts you on a new record, but it scrolls way to the bottom and it puts all of these way up top past where you can see them. It doesn't happen if you're down low, right? If you're down here, it doesn't do that. But if you're up here somewhere and you hit add new, boom, it does that. And I hate that. I'm going to show you how to fix that in the extended cut. For the members, silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos, all of them. There's lots of them, hundreds of them. And gold members can download these databases, and everybody gets free training. You get some free training, and you get some free training. And yeah, it's fun. So check it out. But that's going to do it for today. That's part 16, folks. We'll see you tomorrow for part 17. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. See you tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that show more link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are from my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos. Plus you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject, and you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.